Today is Monday, September 17th, 2018. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the JABBIC Part 1 show for Survivor Season 37, David versus Goliath.
We are back. The long summer hiatus is over.
You opened up the other side of my mic.
Of your mic? You mean your headphone?
I mean my headphone.
Was that a level check on the open? Was that it? That's right. Season 37. We're back. This is season 28 of the Survivor Fans Podcast. We've been going strong as super Survivor fans here at the podcast since February of 2005. Chugging and churning along. This is going to be episode 1121. And this is how we kick off the season, like Joanne said. JABBIC, because we're just fans of acronyms. I've had to wrestle with acronyms my whole life. Judge a book by its cover, JABBIC. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to judge these new Survivor Castaway books by their covers.
Well, it's aptly named, especially this season, since there's not a whole lot of information out there.
Yeah, it is thin, isn't it? But that's okay. We'll work with whatever we get. This is how we start to familiarize ourselves with the new cast, especially when there's 20 of them. Yeah. Going through this process, doing a quick take on their picture. Hey, that's a great smile. Or, wow, Pat, that's a fantastic grimace you have there. And then seeing what you think about that person based maybe just off their picture. Or maybe you dabble into their bio a little and scan through there. That's what I did. Or you try to consume everything you can find. That's what Joanne did. So she's compiled a list of details about each of the castaways that she's going to share. And we're both going to go through and give our assessment of this new cast based on this extremely limited amount of information and our first impressions. I'll make that plural, not just the very first one for us, because we've been looking at different things.
Yeah, because we definitely, both of us changed on one person for sure. That I was, great smile, I think I'm going to like that guy, read the bio and go, no.
No, sounds like a poser. Not sure why he's here, but I bet he won't be here long.
But that's, of course, we're frequently wrong, so. No.
Oh, yeah. And this is fun. Now, this is, once we're going to do our part, so you get to hear what we think, and it'll give you a chance to hear us run through the cast and get some details, like we said. And then we'll turn it over to you, and you'll do part 2 of the JABBIC show. And this is where you go on the record like us with your predictions. Because you can say, I knew that 19-year-old Jessica was going to win from the very beginning, before the first episode aired. But if it ain't on the record, didn't happen. That's my policy.
You sound like a lawyer.
Yeah, we got, two lawyers this season?
Yeah.
All right, is there anything else you'd like to say before we dig in and start flipping these new burgers on the grill here? Oh, I want to say that's Madsumo, our intro music that kicks off
the grill.
Our assessment. Yeah, that's his song On the Grill, his pod-safe music that he's made available to us for years. It's a tradition for us to flip them up on the grill here before the season kicks off.
I miss it between seasons. It always gets us going on the couch.
Yeah, having Paul's roster up on the big screen TV and then hearing On the Grill. That means the season's officially begun for us.
It's like, it's time. And we've run Zed out of his spot, which makes him unhappy. But, this is typically his love seat.
It's temporary, yeah.
It's temporary, so he's over on his climbing tree in his condo. So.
He'll be observing the festivities as we go through these castaways here.
We're sleeping.
All right. The David tribe, we'll go in order of Paul's roster.
Yes, and we're going alphabetical by first name.
So what did Probst tell us about the David tribe? They're here because they had to overcome obstacles, and they weren't given anything.
I don't pay too much attention.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about it. I got
the theme.
I have an aside on the theme we'll go to at the end, but I just want to set it up. So
I didn't address the thing.
This is the David tribe.
So,
all right, who's up first?
And I'm going to try to give everybody a tiny bit of bio.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, first up is B, 28 years old. She's an MMA fighter from Houston, Texas. She ran away from home when she was 14. And her pet peeves are people who complain constantly. She says she's strong, smart, and funny, and she's most like Ben from season 35. She's physically strong, assertive, but quiet and observant as well. She's not a fan of the show.
Yeah, that was my first thought was
she was recruited.
You like Ben because that's the only person you can remember.
Well, she up front said that she watched 6 seasons a month before.
I'm going to just say, don't believe she made it through 6. I'm going with 1.
Yeah, I said she may last a while because she has some physical strength.
She's going to bring a lot of physicality to a not very physical set of females on this tribe. So,
but I said no merge.
Really? I'm going with merge. They're going to need her.
Well,
they're going to feel like they
right off the bat.
They want her. Yeah. Do you think she's going to be combative and then not be able to merge socially?
That's a possibility.
What's the source of no merge for you for B? Just a general sense?
She's not a fan. She thinks she knows more than she does. Not that you have to be a fan to even win the show. You don't. But I just don't think she knows enough about it. I think she's going to trip herself up.
We know she knows about hard work.
Game.
We know she knows about pain.
Very hardworking. Absolutely.
But the discomfort she's going to feel out there and then the toll it's going to take on an athlete's body, especially someone like her who's fought so many fights, it's going to be really rough on her. So it is going to be a struggle, but I think they're going to be desperate if they keep the tribes together. That the David tribe is going to be desperate for female physical power.
So you're thinking they're the weaker of the two tribes physically as well?
I am.
I did too. That was mine.
It remains to be seen, but I'm definitely leading with that. And then this is in support of the supposed theme too. You're supposed to think the Davids are the underdogs. So, okay, anything else you want to say about B?
I thought she may not get along with the other ladies as well. I don't know.
Let's take, because this really struck us when we looked at the David tribe. The women on the David tribe they seem very different from each other. Like it's a very diverse
group.
Yeah, so
I don't know if any of them would have anything in common.
They're all from different quadrants, yeah. I'm not sure that they've got things in common.
Yeah.
So, although there are some themes within the tribe that there's like religion gets mentioned quite a bit in the course of the bios of this tribe. So there may be some religious bonding that happens from that perspective, or they'll have that in common.
Maybe. I just thought B and Elizabeth would be a little bit more forceful in their personalities.
Possibly, yeah. I did note I wasn't expecting a lot from her social game. It's just that her being the primary physical element for the females in this tribe, they would be very reluctant to let her go. Okay, next up, Carl Boudreaux.
41 years old. He's a truck driver, also from Texas. And he owns his own truck, his big rig. So he's very close to his family. He's got 2 kids, a wife, his parents, though his dad is at home sick. So I don't know if that might trip him up
Way
out
on
there.
his mind.
Sometimes it does,
Yep.
yeah. Jeff thinks, so this is going to jinx Carl, that that Carl could be the sleeper of this season and actually win.
My first impression of Carl was I looked at Carl and I was like, Carl's chill. I like Carl. And I share a pet peeve with Carl, but he was short on simple, giving simple answers. And it made me think that there might be the chance that he could get overwhelmed with the complexity of the game. Because I think Carl's used to sort of doing his thing.
Well, come on, fess up. What's the pet peeve you have in common?
Do you have his pet peeves?
No.
The ones that come up over and over again, I was like, oh yeah, we have that in common when I'm going through these things are smacking, chewing food with your mouth open. Yeah, those kind of things. So I'm sure it was one of those.
Okay, he says he is objective, tenacious and adventurous. He's been married for 12 years. I thought he seemed easygoing and that he could fly under the radar and get along well with the tribe. I'm not sure how physically fit he is, but he's only 41, so he should do okay, I guess.
Yep.
I was on the fence about whether he might go deep or not, but I definitely have him making the merge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got him making the merge too. So I got Carl going long myself.
All right. I think that's a distinct possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Christian, 32 years old, a robotics scientist from Tallahassee, Florida, which is about 90 miles from my hometown.
Okay.
He actually, which I thought was a good thing, gained some weight, he said, to go out to play. And that he's okay without food, but he does get a little jumpy without sleep. But he thinks he can handle it. He says he's intellectual, jovial, and driven. I'll win with my intelligence, kindness, and creativity. I was a little unsure about him, and I can't quite get a read on him.
Well, I liked his sense of humor. I think there's a sense of humor there. I'm not sure about his social game aptitude. That seems like it's really on the fence, and it's not just because of the nerdy guy doing robots, but that was just my read on him.
And I don't know how fit he is.
What really, yeah, exactly. He looks like he's stuck in low gear, right? When you're just looking at him. So his stated desire to innovate the game gave me pause. Anybody who's that meta about the game, I worry about them getting wrapped around an axle trying to be too clever for their own good.
Well, my thought was I hope he can do that. I hope he can meet his goals. But I just was very unsure about him. And just because I think he's obviously very intelligent, but that doesn't mean he can play well.
Saving grace, to deal with the robotics, both software, the hardware, all that, you're a problem solver. And if that's his thing, then he's going to be their puzzle answer. He's going to be the one that keeps them in the fight more than likely.
If he can do that, then he'll hang in.
I think that might earn him a spot. So I got him making the merge.
Well, I also wondered if maybe he and Gabby were going to be similar players. Both very intellectual, a little nerdy.
They both wear glasses.
They do? Okay, they do. I looked at the picture. That didn't stand out to me.
Nerds, don't you know? We all wear glasses.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we have ours on.
Yes, we do.
Even though you have to hold your hand way out and I have to hold mine way close. So.
That's if I don't have the glasses on.
Oh, I thought you did even with the glasses.
Well, you see where my hand is right now?
Yes, but you see where mine is?
Well, it's not any different than yours. My arm's like a good foot longer than yours.
Yours is down at your knees, and mine is literally 4 inches in front of my face.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
Okay, next up we have Davey, 30 years old, a social media manager from Atlanta, Georgia, also in our neck of the woods.
Yes, very much so. School in Atlanta.
Yep. He said he's uncommon, adventurous, and calculating. He's a Siberian Husky breeder, and we both thought in Georgia. Siberian Huskies, really?
Keep going. We'll come back and talk about it.
Okay. He builds the dogs' shelters in their dog houses and their kennels. So he says he'll be good to make shelters there. His pet peeves are he don't make decisions for him, and he does not like lazy people. He says he's a skilled fisherman and he will provide. I will mingle with the entire tribe, not just a few to show my sociability, but also, he said, he knows when to be assertive with them when it's time to put his foot down. And I thought,
as the alpha of the pack.
Bye-bye.
He kept framing, he's 30 years old, he keeps framing his interactions with people in the context of pack mentality.
Mm-hmm. He says he admits he's an erratic person because he never knows what he's going to do, so nobody else can. And I thought, okay.
I want to start with the positives for Davey. I looked at Davey and I thought, man, that is great smile. I love the big smile. Seems warm.
Me right in.
And then we got into the Huskies, like you said, in Atlanta.
Hot, humid.
Yeah.
Poor little Huskies.
And then you add to the mix social media manager. Just just ecstatic with his skills in the context of social media. And so these things to me start saying, this is about appearances. It's how the dogs look with me.
Everything. He's mastered social media.
Appearances. It's all surface stuff. Now, that kind of marketing crap can work and it can help you, those kind of skills, I guess. But this game will break you down. In all that surface stuff, all the fronting that you're doing, it'll get stripped away in the context of this game. And if there's no substance there, that's going to be a hard row right there to hoe.
Well, and he says he likes to throw punches at people just to see their reactions.
He's just saying things to for the impact. It's the way you do when you're really young and you're trying to figure out where the boundaries are, except Davey's 30.
Yeah. Well, all people that are 30 in age aren't 30.
Sure. Some of them never get past a certain
point. Well, this is one of the things that stuck out for me is he said he's a middle child, so he's always had to seek attention. And I thought, this would be a
almost
great
made him
place to do it.
A black sheep. So I didn't really get that at all. But okay.
Well, I said, even with his
attention.
physicality, I said no merge.
Which is...
maybe it's because of what I want. I think he is there just for the public attention.
Yes.
And but here's something I picked up on one of the interviews is that he was called in 2 days before the game actually started, which usually means somebody got
punched out, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Whether health issue, whatever, somebody got pulled and they had to bring him in last minute.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember hearing anything?
Just
about that?
And that I think Josh Wigler mentioned it, and seems like Jeff might have said something too, but Josh had said, well, we'll get to that later on. But I thought, and I think Jeff said something like he was surprised at how, he said yes immediately, even though he only had 2 days to get there and start to play.
You know what really rung the dingle-dork bell for me on Davey?
Dingle-dork, that's new.
Which is, no, it's not. He said Rick Grimes from The Walking Dead was his hero.
He's a big fan.
How do you pick Rick out of that mix?
Because he takes charge.
Except he doesn't, right?
He knows when to put his foot down.
He's a waffler. He's lost. And he doesn't have a basis for making his decisions. Oh, wait a minute. This might be the essence of Davey's strategy. Yeah, I got no merge on Davey, too. I wanted to like him, but we came out together on that with a big no merge for Davey.
Yep. Okay, Elizabeth, 31 years old, who works as kitchen staff in Longview, Texas. She hates, and she used the word hates, lazy, stupid, boring, and dull people, and also whiners. Doesn't know what it's like to go hungry, so she didn't have an opinion about how well she'd do without food. She was a tomboy, 8 kids in the family. She's been working since age 11. And she plans to be a provider in the game, and she thinks everyone will love and trust her. That she's not afraid to break alliances if she needs to. She's loving but tough and has a contagious smile, but she has no filter. If she thinks it, it comes out her mouth.
I see. Well, that sounds like a recipe for a great Survivor castaway.
Even with
a fan
with all that.
Let's acknowledge first. She's a fan since back in season 2. That's when we picked it up too and got super interested in it. She birthed 2 kids with no pain meds. Good grief, this is a strong woman. That's something else. She loves her raccoon hat, a feature that she shares in common with Davey, who said he wore his hat on to dates.
Yep, and her cowboy hat. She birthed her children in her cowboy hat because it was important.
I think she realizes that she's here to fill that Big Tom archetype, that role, and she even noted his influence.
Yep, she did.
But Elizabeth is a head knocker. I don't think she's going to make it.
Well, I put she would make the merge because I think she will work so hard around camp and in the challenges. I do think she's going to get on people's bad side as well, and that could get her sent out. But I just kind of thought, because she's a big woman, if she's good in the challenges and she works around camp and feeds them.
I didn't get a sense she was going to be good in challenges. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, but I said merge. Did you say no?
No merge. I saw her walking on the beach in her tennis shoes and her socks, and they were, like in the water. And I thought, that's how you get blisters. So you just don't have the good sense. You're going to hurt yourself out here. And this whole thing, no pain meds with childbirth and all that, she's one of these castaways that's going to end up working themselves out of the game or something like that. She'll get injured and end up leaving, have a medical issue.
All right. Anything else about Elizabeth?
No.
Gabby, 25 years old. She's a technical writer from Denver, Colorado. Lots of different cultures in her childhood, so she connects with lots of different people. She's very smart, but not very physical. She's a little nerdy, quirky, but is a good listener, and she says people tell her things. She thinks she will be perceived as a non-threat. She may get a little hangry at times, but she said she wants to see if she can rise above the mental, emotional, and physical turmoil found in the game. She has knowledge of the game, but she's social enough to hide that information. But she says she cries a lot. She cries at the drop of a hat. She may be another Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Is what she said.
She's really there to fill the Aubrey slot, and maybe that empathy and then the analytical mindset, that pitch is compelling. If you can be empathetic and you can convey that and connect on a social level and really make a connection with the people that are out there, that goes a long way. So I got her making the merge, and a tech writer. She's got a mind for tackling new things like that. So she might be the puzzle solver with Christian. I guess I'm falling for the stereotype a little bit there, but I think that's her ticket to stay. So I got her making the merge.
Jeff compared her to Cochran and Aubrey. I like her, and I want her to do well. And even though she's not very physically fit, as she said, and I'm a little concerned about her crying a lot, I'm still going to say merge, because I would like for her to make the merge, I believe.
Yep, social game-wise, she may have what it takes. Next up, we got Jessica Pete. She's 19, a waitress from Lakeland, Florida.
All right. She's going to hide her age, though. She doesn't want people to know she's still a teenager. So, and she talks about the hunger may get to her as well. She said her reason for being on the show is mainly the experience itself.
What else could it be? She's 19.
She says she's grown up watching and loving Survivor, so at least she's got that going. She says she's very adaptable, can think fast and make decisions when needed. And she thinks the young blonde will be overlooked and underestimated.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go yes on the evils of chewing with your mouth open. I agree with her on that. But I'm going to go no on the likelihood that she'll be competent in the game. And, yeah, like you said, she said she's there for the experience. She's here because she's blonde. She's cute. End of story. She's a likely goat. That's the catch.
She's an easy out.
She's a goat.
I put no merge.
She gets dragged along to the end.
You've got her making the merge?
I got her making the merge.
I said no merge.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because I thought the other girls might be stronger. But we'll see. Okay, Nick Wilson, 27 years old.
Skipped
Lyrsa.
How could you skip Lyrsa?
I just did.
She stands out a tad.
Okay, well, not on my paper.
Yeah.
Lyrsa, 36, an airline agent originally from Puerto Rico. Her pet peeves are people that won't stop talking about themselves and unnecessary continuous noises. Oh, that's going to be tough out there. People just talk nonstop. She may have a little issue, she said, with lack of food, but that she could sleep anywhere. We'll see. She said she's not really a physical threat. She admits that. But she said she would be very good at studying the other contestants and using their weaknesses to her advantage and keeping a good social game. She believes she can win, and she's relying on her social game.
I hope. Yeah, I would like to think that they all want to think they can win.
Yep. Well,
she said she's into
you
kickboxing.
Should if you're going out there.
And I thought, oh, that's cool. Maybe she'll connect with B on some level. And then she said she's been doing kickboxing for
3 months.
4 months. And then I watched her, one of the videos, and how she was throwing punches. I'm like, you don't know anything about kickboxing. Mm-hmm. You went to like a kickboxing aerobics class or something. So, yeah, the physicality is going to be really hard on her.
I like her, but I said no merge because of her size. She's very small.
Yep.
And I don't know that she can help in the challenges.
Yeah, her only hope really is having a social game. And good on you, Lyrsa, for rocking the purple hair, but I think the lionesses are going to pick you out quick and cull you from the herd. So you stand out. This is the one to eliminate.
Okay, so no merge for you,
No merge
too.
for Lyrsa, yeah.
Hey, we have some in common.
Yep. Now, Nick.
Okay, Nick, 27, public defender from London, Kentucky, says he's charming, outgoing, and intelligent. He can win because he's the total package. I'm hardworking, likable, physically fit, will do well in physical and puzzle challenges. I'm very smart but hide it under my accent. I'm a survivor strategy expert. I am a super fan who has analyzed every season and every move. I will be underestimated. But then he turns around and says he's on the Survivor for the experience and the adventure.
Which is really, make fun of that, but the reality is the chances of you winning are pretty low. So if you're a fan, you definitely want the experiences, and you want to be around as long as you can in the game to have those.
At least it's been his dream to play since he was a kid.
Yeah, I like the super fan part. We're always fans of the super fans.
Well, and he does say the money would be good to pay off his student loans. So
for sure, yeah. And when Probst was describing him in one of the few videos that are out there, he sounded like Donathan. He's from Kentucky. He had come back home to take care of his mom, who's since passed. I thought, wow, what are the chances that two guys have that in common with their story?
No, I think he stayed home with his mom till she passed, and then he went out to school.
Right. In any case, that they had that in common. But I think he's also very different than Donathan. So I think he's got much greater potential to deliver in the context of the game, although his bio seems like a bit of a contradiction at times, but I got him making the merge.
Well, I want to like him, and I hope what he's selling is real. He's 100 times more physically fit than Donathan was to do challenges.
Yeah.
So let's get that right.
Yeah.
But I definitely say the merge, and I think he could go deep.
Okay.
I do.
Lawyers have a hard path of it, but yeah.
I know, but there's something about him. I don't know. I just get the feeling that his personality's going to be different. Anyway, that's my take, and I'm sticking with it.
Good deal. We both got him merging.
Merge. Okay, good. Pat Cusack, 40, a maintenance manager from New York.
Upstate New York.
Upstate New York. I can't pronounce that, so that's why I did Watervliet.
Yeah, close enough.
New York, he said he's funny, hardworking, and loving. My mental, physical, and emotional skills are unmatched. My dedication and determination are my strongest assets. He's a family man, got wife and kids. They're his motivation. I don't think he's very physically fit, however. He's big, and I think he could definitely help in certain challenges, but he's not physically fit. So
I think we both had a similar reaction, right? We had the Dove. We both thought Dove when we saw him.
Dove.
Dad on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
Never been out of New York?
We both did.
Yep.
Separately.
So this,
and then talked about
he might be more ecstatic about not having all those responsibilities for a little while and getting to see a different part of the world.
He said, but being a young parent of 3, the excitement of a tropical paradise is a thing I've never experienced. I've never really even left New York State before. Mm-hmm. And then we both went, oh no, Dad on vacay.
Yeah. So the whole grimace, instead of a smile, I got a good old boy vibe off of him.
Yeah.
I
Hard worker.
Think Pat's likely to get overwhelmed. He might be a casualty of the game. So I got Pat as a no merge.
Yeah. Well, see, he says he can provide and do all that stuff, but I think he never been in the ocean before.
Yeah.
How are you going to be a provider? Yeah, you can fish, but you never been in the ocean
Everybody
before.
can fish from a bank or from the boat with a rod and a reel. What if you don't have that? What are you going to do then?
So,
we've seen this story play out over and over again where there's no providing that comes out of that claim.
Yeah, though I do have him making the merge.
Okay, we split on that then.
Because, but I was already getting rid of Davey. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that they'll get rid of both their big guys.
They may not have a choice.
Well, that's true.
It'll all come down to where the alliances fall.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree, and the women could maybe turn this around if they chose to band together, but I don't know that they will. We don't know anything.
I've got most of the casualties before the merge coming from this tribe, so I just think they're going to be a mess.
Yeah, I think I have four from this tribe.
A shuffle saves some folks, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, anything else about the David tribe?
No, I don't think so. We hit the part about how we thought they were the weaker of the two, right? Mm-hmm. We both agreed on that?
Yep.
Okay. Next up, the Goliath tribe. Jeff described them as they've had advantages all their life, some God-given, some given by family or whatever, but that's supposed to somehow differentiate them. And they've got these big accomplishments, which is, I think he just threw in to justify some of the people here.
Again, I ignored all that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so up first, Alec. He's 24 years old, a bartender from San Clemente, California.
It's like bartender is now an archetype in the game. Sorry.
Surfer dude, positive vibe. Be aware, don't play too hard, listen and engage. He's going to do all these things. Mm-hmm. He's going to make an alliance quickly. He will flirt. He wants to be everyone's son, friend, whatever they need. Jeff says he's super charming and everybody likes him, and he's very athletic. He describes himself as charismatic, tenacious, and humorous. His hobbies are surfing, playing guitar, and making travel videos. Mm-hmm. I question his strategic game, and I think some of the smart women could kind of use him.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. To further themselves, and they'll need his strength. So I definitely have him making the merge, but I don't think he has any chance of actually winning.
I don't think so either. He's one of two in this tribe that came from San Clemente. I think that's because someone in casting took a long weekend and came back going, I got two for the next season. And he's one of them. It's a classic archetype. The surfer dude. Yeah, he's a bartender. Hey, he plays guitar and sings too. Yeah, so he's filling that slot. I don't expect a whole lot from him, but I do expect him to make the merge. I think he's going to be a meat shield for someone else that I think has a lot more potential in the game.
Well, I think he'll be really good in challenges. Mm-hmm. So that's good. That's important too.
Merge and merge. Moving on. Who's next?
Allison, 28 years old, a physician from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Her bio makes it sound like she's trying to figure out what she really wants to do with her life. Mm-hmm. That she wants to be a free spirit. She compares herself to Andrea Bonahy, who is, she says, tough in challenges, hardworking, around camp, strategic, and a fierce competitor. So that's what she's striving for. She seems to have this journey all mapped out in her head, but I'm not sure it will go exactly like she's imagining it will.
I didn't think she was a fan. Did you get the sense that she was a fan? No, she's a recruit.
No, she might even know Andrea. I don't know. But I am really kind of skeptical about it. And I don't think she's as self-aware as you would think she is being a doctor. I think she's done what was expected of her for 10 years now. And now she kind of is like, nah. I kind of want to branch out a little and see what I'd really like to do.
Oh, that was the read you got?
Not sure this is my path.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I kind of thought she wanted to, kind of break free from some of that. So I was a little on the fence about her, but I'll go ahead and say she makes the merge because I think there's other people that might go before her, even though I think she could go too. But
I like the self-deprecating humor. That part works. She's a hard worker. It's hard not to be a hard worker and and be a physician. So, and I got her making the merge too, but I don't know that there's a lot of in-game potential in her. So
I don't think so either.
I didn't get a lot more out of it than that either.
So I was a little bit disappointed there, but we'll see. Okay, up next, Angelina. She's 28 years old as well, a financial consultant from San Clemente, California.
Second one from San Clemente, yep.
She's a military wife, though,
mm-hmm.
and she loves life. She's high energy, and she's an all-in type person. She says she's a super nerd, fiercely competitive, but she has mental fortitude. She's most anxious about the food, shelter, and the life comforts out there, so that gives you a little pause. Jeff says she definitely has an ego about her, but she's smart enough to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
She also says she's very intuitive, persuasive, and loving. I'm able to get along with anyone, and people tend to trust me. I'm not afraid to take risks and play hard.
I like the Natalie Anderson reference. That was good. That speaks well of her, that she picked up on what a good game Natalie played and the aspects of Natalie's game. I think she'll likely have a strong social game, given her background and her accomplishments, and from that perspective. So I do have her making the merge.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, she could get overwhelmed by the game, too.
I put her
a recruit.
Making the merge because she does seem to have a lot going for her.
Mm-hmm.
She is positive and upbeat.
Yeah, that goes a long way.
I'm not sure how she'll do with the environment, but I definitely say merge, and I think she could go deep. I actually put her in my Final Four.
Oh, wow. Okay. So merge.
Which surprised even me.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's more surprises coming.
I did not expect that.
Yep. Next up, we got Dan. He's 27. He's a SWAT officer from Gainesville, Florida.
He says he's good with only 4 or 5 hours sleep a night. I thought, well, I hope you get that much, because they usually don't, from what a lot of people have said. He's a single dad with 2 girls. He says he's a closet nerd and a Superman fan. He lost 100 pounds.
Yeah, to make the SWAT team. Impressive.
Yeah.
That's a commitment right there, man. That's somebody who can dedicate themselves to hard work for sure.
He says he knows how to embrace the suck.
Mm-hmm.
His pet peeves are he can't stand lazy people, and he also hates when people cut him off when he's talking.
Mm-hmm.
So he says he's very determined, athletic, and competitive. He works in a profession that requires him to be able to talk to any type of person through all walks of life and be able to relate and convince them to do things that he may need them to do. I really like him.
Yeah.
Yes, he's very physically fit, and he seems like just a good guy. I think he can go deep, and he may end up being he's in the running, one of 2 guys for kind of my USB.
Ah, okay. Well, he fancies himself as strategic like Malcolm, so gotta like that reference there.
Yep.
The whole deal about I can talk to people and do all these things. When you're an authority figure or you're a manager and you think you have that skill, some of that comes with the fact that you have a gun, you have a police officer's uniform on, maybe you're a big, imposing physical person. Dan kind of fits a lot of these bills, so I'm not so sure if he's that good, although we know from Tony right? From Tony's example, that he can be really good at working people, and sometimes in Sarah, the cop skills can translate over really well.
That's true.
We've had two relatively recent examples of that.
You're selling him as my USB.
Yeah, I didn't get a Tony or Sarah vibe off him at all. Like he could function at that mental level.
He may not be as hardcore.
Yeah, he just really didn't.
They were pretty hardcore.
They were very hardcore, and they're able to work the game on. I didn't get the sense that Dan's going to be working the game on multiple levels at the same time and be able to pull off the kind of stuff they could. I just wanted to point out that sometimes those skills translate, and other times they absolutely don't.
Well, and probably more than half of the people said those exact same words.
I'd be surprised if casting folks don't find favorites or they don't lend some advice sometimes. And my thought was Alex's description of himself sounded like he was able to parrot back what the casting person said really well, right? So I think sometimes that happens in that regard. So yeah, I like Dan. I think he's going to make the merge. I think he's going to be, again, like Alec, he's going to be a meat shield for a more strategic, bigger threat, a better player overall in the game. So yeah, I definitely got him.
Shut your mouth.
Definitely got him making the merge.
All right, up next, Jeremy Crawford, 40 years old, an attorney from New York, New York, plans to get to know each person and show a genuine interest. He relates to a lot of different people.
It's a good Natalie White approach to the game.
He says his weakness is his confidence. He's very confident. People read...
Not that he doesn't have confidence, that he's overconfident is a weakness. Is that it?
That's kind of what I think he meant. He reads people well and gains their trust. He's been a fan for a long time, which I really like, and he wants that first-hand adventure. So I like the way you put that, first-hand adventure.
Of course, yeah. That's the way the real fan's going to see it, for sure.
But he says his personality will not let him fly under the radar.
Okay. Yep. That says I'm not adaptable. This is something that can really hold you up in the context of the game.
I really kind of liked him at first, and then I started, I don't know, it just felt like, I don't think he's going to make it much past the merge.
Nah.
I don't.
Nope.
So I don't see him being real deep in the game, but definitely the merge.
He'll get knocked out because he's somebody's wingman, something like that. He's somebody's second, and then they're like, well, I'm not going to take that person out, but I will take out his number one support person, and I think that's going to be Jeremy. Yep. I don't think he's going to be like his namesake. I don't think he's got Jeremy the firefighter level skills in the context of the game. I didn't get that vibe off of him from the little bit that was there.
I think there's some pretty fierce people on the Goliath tribe.
Yeah.
If they make a strong, alliance and stick with it long term, they could be formidable.
It could come down to, can they put up with each other long enough to get the job done?
Sure.
Yep. All right, who's next?
John, he's 38 years old, a pro wrestler from Los Angeles. He says you should be yourself in the game, and that he really laughs at himself in any hardships. That's how he deals with it. He laughs at it a lot. So he thinks he can make people believe whatever story he tells. And Jeff said there's no pretense about this guy. He's extremely likable. And I read some other stuff from other people that said, oh, they met him so-and-so, and he's a very likable guy. So I thought I was going to hate it that he was pro wrestler and he was on there. And I was all ready to judge him just by that.
I did. I totally misjudged him, I think, out of the gate because of the pro wrestler background.
He's my other choice for USB.
Yeah, well, that's something where we have in common.
Oh, I like him.
I think that he knows how to entertain. He's a sharp guy. He can improvise. He can think on his feet. I think I saw something on him back at the end of the last season talking about how he was actually doing writing up some of his own skits for the wrestling shows. Him and the Miz, maybe. I forget who partnered up. I followed wrestling when I was like 6 or 7. I remember watching back when Gordon Soley was an announcer.
That was a very long time
ago. That was a long time ago, so I kind of got away from it since then. But when I saw John's skills and his his ability, I think he talked about in his bio, to go into a different wrestling league and end up being like a spokesperson for it, even though it was a
Spanish speaking.
Right. So I can't remember what that's called now. The Lucra. Anyway, so his ability, his social skills, I think, are on point. And physically, he may be the biggest guy out there.
Well, here's how he explains it. He said, "I win everywhere I go because I understand how to play the game."
Yeah, he figures out the rules and the boundaries and all that.
What are they looking for? What do they want? And give it to them.
Right.
And he also starred in dozens of TV shows, he said. He's even on Glow on Netflix.
I don't remember seeing him on Glow.
I don't remember him in there either.
We really liked Glow.
I know, we did. Now we're going to have to go back and look again.
Yeah, I guess so. We'll go look in IMDb to see which episode he was in.
He said his movies are including the award-winning action comedy Boone, The Bounty Hunter, which he also wrote and produced.
Yeah.
So he's not just
That's why I say I misjudge the guy. He's got skills in all kinds of levels.
Yes, he does.
And he could be like one of the first big physical monster threat guys to actually win the game. But I think that would be stunning if he can get the right alliances together and keep the people on point. So.
Well, I've got him in my Final Four, but I just don't know if people will let somebody like him, that's just so out there an open threat, get to the end.
Well, we've definitely seen a change in the way the game's been playing.
That's
people
true.
In the past, the most recent seasons, they haven't immediately been about, hey, let's eliminate this big physical guy threat. So, and the guys that have some of that physicality have been adopting strategies that help them stay around, get people in front of them. So that's why I think, John can get Alec in front of him. He can get Dan in front of him. That's a couple of meat shields right there to help give him cover. Yeah, possibly Jeremy. Yeah. And so that's why he's got the potential to go deep. So I definitely said merge for him,
and
too.
And they've got a 2 or 3 really strong women, I think, too, that are very smart. That's why I said if they make the right alliance on that tribe, wow.
Yeah, it could be formidable. Okay, moving on. We both got John on the merge and going deep.
And in my Final Four.
Next up.
Okay, Kara Kay. She's 30 years old, a realtor from San Diego, same area down there. She's also a former NFL cheerleader.
I think it said she even led the squad, the Charger ladies or whatever they're called,
Yeah, she said being attractive has always helped her in life. She likes yoga and running for her hobbies. She will do anything for food and to win. She laughs at everything, though, she says, and she doesn't like bugs. So she was a little afraid that might get annoying if she couldn't stop laughing. And she said, but she's relentless and she does not give up. And she knows how to get along and make friends from all walks of life. They're all saying that. But she says she's very observant, and yet she has the ability to keep to herself if she needs to. She's very strong and focused and could be a threat in the challenges. Plus, she said she's not afraid to be cutthroat if she has to.
Right.
So I actually kind of discounted her from her photo at first.
Yeah, it's easy to take the Barbie route with her.
Yeah. And I thought, no, I think she does have some
she's got potential for being a social threat, and she's physically fit. So whether or not she can actually play the game or has any understanding of it, that remains to be seen. I think she's a recruit. She checked that, hey, I'm a platinum blonde cheerleader box.
Yeah.
You're in. So.
Well, I have her making the merge unless the environment gets to her.
I have her making the merge also.
Okay. Up next, we have Mike White. He's a filmmaker from Los Angeles. He says he's fun, good-natured, easy to get along with, but I do get irritable about an hour before lunch. So he's a little concerned about that. He's there for the experience of playing. He doesn't need the money.
Of course not. He's from Hollywood. He's a filmmaker.
But he doesn't look very physically fit for the challenges to me.
No, Mike White looks sick.
Very
Every time
smart,
I see him, I think, oh, that guy's deeply sick. I wonder how much time he has left. That's my first thought when I see him.
Well,
because we've seen him before. He was on The Amazing Race.
Yeah. Well, part of me, I think he could be fun and interesting. And if he had a strong alliance, he could go deep. But I had to put him no merge. He'd just be such an easy vote out.
I think it would be fun to play Survivor with Mike.
Yeah.
I think he's a sharp, funny guy. I don't think he's got any business being on Survivor. I don't see him making it. The other part of me is like, why are you even here? Why would they even put you on here? Well, you're just like when they bring out the big sports stars.
I do think he's entertaining.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely, right.
And we know
we love
that
Rock School and some of the other stuff he's done.
If he got his foot in the door.
School of Rock, rather. Sorry.
If they won all the time for a while and he got a good foot in the door.
Yeah.
That's where, because I think people have told us year after year after year, season after season, that the worst thing about it out there is it's so boring, and that they keep people around if they're entertaining them.
Yep.
So if he's entertaining, they may keep him just for that.
I suppose that's a possibility. I'm with you on how the tribe saves him because they're not losing, but they'll inevitably they'll goof up, and then I think he'll be gone. So I still
put no merge.
I don't have him making the merge. Yeah, I think he's actually most like Goliath from the Bible story, which we'll talk about when we head towards the wrap up here.
Okay, if you must.
Yep. And Goliath didn't make it either. So there you go, Mike.
Okay, next up we have Natalia. She's 25 years old, an industrial engineer from Irvine, California. She says she's confident, charismatic, and blunt. Says she likes to be in control. She's fun, confrontational, demanding, and bold. Willing to be deceitful. She doesn't like the beach because of the sand. She prefers pool. And she said one of her pet peeves is when people get upset over easily. She has a very hard shell, she said, and it annoys her.
Isn't she the one who says she faints, though?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Little contrast there.
Yeah. She said she faints easily. So she's a little concerned about the being food and sleep deprived because she thinks that's really going to affect her, and she faints easily. So she may be that person that faints on day one. So she did say that. But she also said that she's good at reading people, and that she knows how to get what she wants. She knows how to work people and get them to do things that she wants them to. And she's not afraid to make big moves in the game, and that she's a fan.
Yeah, I like the fan part. I like the Kelly Wentworth reference, although you're referencing someone who didn't win. But I like Kelly Wentworth. It's kind of like referencing Suri, I guess. Mm-hmm. She just seems like a throwaway to me, though. She seems like I got a Stephanie Gonzalez vibe. You remember Stephanie Gonzalez from last season?
Yep.
It's like zip, and she's gone. So I ended up industrial engineering. Man, that's a really tough degree, tough discipline. So she's got to be really sharp and all, but she just didn't give me any sense she was going to be competent in the game.
It's that whole liking to be in control thing.
Well, and the feigning, and she just seemed like a huge mixed bag for the little bit that we got to judge this book, and so I went ahead and went with her as a no merge.
I stuck with merge just because I think she'll be strong. She'll pull past that for a while, I think, but I also am with you in that she could be an easy early out.
Mm-hmm. All right. Last but certainly not least, we got Natalie Cole, 57. She's a publishing CEO from L.A.
She has a very long list of pet peeves that was just way too long.
Which she was aware of. She was very...
a page full of them.
Yeah, she was eloquent in her, as you might expect from someone in publishing, in her bio, right?
She said she's...
vociferous.
Yeah, she said she's analytical, logical, calculating, strategic, and can read people well even when they are not openly sharing. However, she's also launching a skincare line, and I think that could be a big reason why she's on the show.
Yeah, think she got something to sell? Might be a little Edna Ma going on there.
Yeah. She's the oldest female and not as physically fit as the other woman.
She's the oldest person
other women
in the cast by a distance at 57.
She's on a really young tribe.
Yes, very young.
Well, Mike's not that young, but
this tribe skews younger. Goliath skews younger than David, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think they'll let her in at all. I definitely said no merge. She's probably first out on that tribe.
I like the Kim Spradlin reference. There's just seems unlikely you got Kim Spradlin skills, but I like the reference. Good on you for that. Physically, you're going to have a hard time.
Way harder than she thinks.
And it's going to turn hard, and then you're going to be wondering, why am I doing this to myself? I'm the CEO of a publishing empire.
I don't need the money.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got the publicity I wanted. Let's go on vacation.
Yeah, that struggle's going to be over pretty quick. I got no merge for Natalie.
Yeah, definitely.
The only reason she stays is if the tribe wins. And there's great potential for that. Yeah, exactly. All right.
So, wow, we've gone through them already.
Yep.
Okay, my tentative final four is Dan, John, Gabby, and Angelina. Mixed it up a little.
Dan, John, Gabby. So you pulled one from the David tribe.
Yeah, I just like Gabby.
And then you pulled three from Goliath.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though there's others I like on Goliath too. And
so for my final four, I also picked John. I picked Carl because I think he's, like we said, he's got a chance to go deep. I also picked Angelina.
Really?
Yep, I did. I think that she might realize the potential in John and just kind of use him as her ticket to get there, along with her own abilities.
You go, girl.
But she'll use him as her shield. And then Jessica is a goat that gets dragged along because she's not a threat to anyone.
Jessica. Oh, I was like,
little
who's
Jessica? Yeah, so
the other blonde.
You got to ask who has goat potential.
I'm sure she's very sweet, but she is 19.
Yeah, just in terms of assessing the game, we don't actually know anything about these folks, but we're basing all these reads off the little bit of info that we got.
This is nothing personal, y'all.
All right.
If you're listening, nothing personal.
Who did you go with to win?
I haven't decided. I'm waiting, hoping for more videos, but also waiting to hear what the other fans have to say.
So I went ahead and made
John or Dan.
My pick is John. I think John's head and shoulders above the rest in terms of his potential to do well in the game. The obvious downside to John is his physicality. And so it just screams threat.
Yep.
But if he can find a way to align himself with folks, fly under the radar, hide behind the winds, right? Use the winds as a shield, use the other meat shields as a shield to get him further in the game, make some solid alliances. He's got good potential.
He's more my head pick. Dan's more heart pick, I guess.
Yeah.
So I have not made that final choice yet.
Okay. Yeah, mine's not final, but if I were entering everything right now, yeah, that's how it came down for me. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think we've covered.
There was I wanted to make a couple more points. There's a pretty big, there was multiple religious references. I saw it in the David tribe. There's Carl, Davy, Elizabeth, and I forget who else. There was at least one. Jessica. Yep, that's right. It usually comes up under what would you have with you? You know, what 3 items would you bring if you could? And it's like, oh, I definitely bring my Bible or something like that, right?
Well, yeah, and I saw that for Carl, and I made note of it, and I was going to say religious, and then I listened to the interview with Wiggler, and he starts dropping the bombs. And I was
not
like,
hardcore, huh?
Okay, maybe not that religious.
Yeah, so it's not like the South Pacific where religion becomes a big theme or something, you don't think. Okay, so I saw that as a potential. I don't know if it's significant or not.
I don't know.
The other thing that I wanted to mention, and this goes back to the theme of the show, and Joanne and I like to make fun of Probst and his forced themes. But he's trying, and it works. It works, I think, sometimes to pull people in, and the whole David versus Goliath, the underdog story that you've heard about, or you heard in Sunday school, that kind of thing. So back when I heard, at the end of the season, I heard this was a theme. I came across two things, and there were two videos, and it gave me a completely different look at the David versus Goliath story. So, and I'll include links to these in the show notes for this episode, and that's where you'll find the link to Paul's awesome roster when you're going through and putting together your feedback for JABBIC Part 2. There's a video that it's a TED Talk that Malcolm Gladwell, he's famous for the book Outliers and some other books, and he was the one who made that statement about, hey, it takes 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert, which later got debunked by the researchers who actually did the work. But in any case, Malcolm Gladwell did this video, and he was talking about the actual story of David versus Goliath and how it's not really what you think. And there were some doctors that first started picking up on this. I think it was in a medical paper initially. And they said that Goliath, and it's worth watching the video, but I'm just going to summarize it. If you go back and look at the clues in the story about Goliath, he very likely had, I'm probably going to mispronounce this, acromegaly. It's that hormonal disorder that causes the pituitary gland to produce too much growth hormone. Okay. It makes you lumbering and nearsighted. Those people who are like, 7, 8 feet tall, Andre the Giant, and some of those super record-breaking height people have that particular disorder, and that it's very likely that Goliath had that, and he couldn't actually see. And when you go back and look at what's in the Bible verses, that it indicates that he had trouble seeing him, and that David showed up with maybe some skills that he really wasn't the underdog. Like, as it turns out, David might have been a stone cold killer. Get it? Stone?
Yes,
stone cold.
Honey, I get it.
So this is more like a battle of infantry versus artillery. Funny. Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah. And so the second video I saw, so there's one, the Gladwell, where he breaks all that down. They go back and look at it through different eyes. And in the Gladwell video, he talked about how the rocks there that David collected very likely were made from barium sulfate, like this super dense rock material. And then there was a second one, Zach Fowler, the guy that won Alone. I've talked about how much I enjoyed the show Alone before. He won season 3 of Alone. He did a video and he liked shooting slingshots. And there's another guy that he met that used what's called a shepherd's staff sling. So you've seen the sling, and they use it in the commercials, right? Where you see it's a hand, it fits on your fingers, the ends of the sling do. Well, there's actually another version of that where it fits on a staff. So it extends the power of it. In the Gladwell video, he says that the slingers actually turn those rocks loose with the force that could be compared to a 45. Mm-hmm. And when you see in this video that Zach Fowler did with the guy using the shepherd's staff sling, you see it go right towards a ballistic gel dummy with a coconut head, cracking it open. You see the force that it hits with. It's just immense. And so David being the underdog and Goliath the favored,
not so much.
Yeah, it's completely turned on its head. So I know it's an aside, but I found all that stuff really interesting, a different look on that story, and it just caught my eye because of the theme they had chosen for the season. I wanted to share that and thought people might enjoy checking it out in more detail.
And you're going to include the link.
Yep, we'll make sure to have links to both of those YouTube videos in the show notes.
We want to just say huge thanks, Paul, for the roster.
As always.
We've already used it a lot.
Yeah.
And also for the website logo that Paul makes for us.
Yeah, for JSFL.
Yeah, awesome job as always, Paul. And also a big thanks to Steve for updating the JSFL website. It is now ready for your selections.
And what is JSFL, you might ask? That's our fantasy league, and we would love to have you come play along. It gives you a totally different look at the game when you take part in the JSFL with us here at Survivor Fans Podcast.
All right. Everyone who was playing the game of JSFL at the end of last season is already signed up, and your passwords did not change. We don't have a record of your passwords, so
by the way,
make sure that you keep the record of those.
Can't help you with that.
Because, if you call and say, I've forgotten my password. Well, then just go ahead and register again under a different name and start over because we don't know your password. Mm-hmm. So, and then you don't have to do anything else with the old one because it will automatically be dropped after 3 consecutive weeks of not making picks.
Something to be aware of. If you miss once or twice, you're okay. You miss a third time, you get kicked out of the game.
Yeah, and there's nothing we can do for that. It just wipes you out.
Yep.
Because it assumes you're no longer playing.
Okay.
So if you're new to JSFL, you need to register right away and read the official rules listed on the website.
They're not
so
long.
You know how to play the game. And then you need to select a USB 24, which is the person you think will win the season.
Ultimate Survivor bonus. It's worth a big whopping 24
points if you get it right at the end of the season.
Put your JABBIC skills on the line.
Make sure that you hit the submit button and wait to make sure that it accepted your choices, because if not, you do not have a USB 24.
Right.
And you won't be allowed to do it. Choose a USB 24 once the show has started, and the deadline before the show starts, actually. But that always happens every season. Drives me nuts. Okay, that's my thing.
In addition to your USB 24, you're going to want to choose who you think is going to be voted off first. That's worth an extra 2 points. Then you need to pick 4 people you think are going to be safe from elimination in that first episode. And there's a catch. Every week we're going to say, here's who's going to get voted off. You have to make a pick. And then you have to say, and these 4 castaways are going to be safe. The catch is you only get to claim somebody's going to be safe 6 times.
Throughout the whole season.
Once you've chosen them 6 times, you can't choose them anymore. So you have to be a little strategic in thinking about, who's gonna go early? Who should I
don't do that well always.
Yes, sometimes we all run out of safe points. That's true. So, but you want to try to keep that in mind. So there's a little bit of a challenge. There's a strategic element to it. So there's the first half of the game where we make the merge. And then there's a second half of the game where we play through to the end.
If you have any problems at all with the website, please let us know as soon as possible at joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. And I would always say this, I advise not waiting until the last minute to get your choices in. Get something in. You can always change it. But just in case of bad weather or the internet is down or some unforeseen problem, get some picks in early.
Yep.
And in case that should happen and you couldn't get into the website and it's right at the last minute, if we receive an email from you with the choices before the deadline, if the email shows us you sent it before the deadline, then we will.
We'll work with Steve to get that entered for you.
With that, yeah. But that would only be if the website is down.
Yep.
So, which we hope will never ever happen.
It's the uptime there is really good, but just in case, you need to be prepared. Okay, now we're going to turn it over to you, JABBIC Part 2. It's your turn to judge these books by their covers. We've taken the big broad strokes. We've given you the bios. You don't have to rehash any of that. Right, we're looking for who do you think's got the potential to win, who's going to be voted off first, who do you think's going to win the whole thing. Keep it under 3 minutes, keep it in that range. The voicemail number is 206-350-1547. There's a toll-free version, 844-643-8737. You can record your own and send it to us to joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. You can find the phone numbers, you can find the email to send your feedback to on the website getsfp.com. We look forward to hearing your thoughts. And like I said, if you're not on the record, didn't happen. Anything else you want to add, baby?
Whew. We got it done.
Got it done. That's right. We got through it. So this is our first step. Now we're starting to learn their names. We got our ideas about how they're going to play. We're looking forward to getting your thoughts, sharing those with the rest of the super fans here at Survivor Fans Podcast, and then kicking off that first episode on the 26th, 90 minutes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
90 minutes. Thank you.
Looking forward to it.
All right. We will be back on Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
With all the information that you have to share with us.
Have a good one.
Fall is here, hear the yell. Back to school, ring the bell. Brand new shoes, walking blues. Climb the fence, books and pens. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. Walk with me, Susie Lee, through the park and by the tree. We will rest upon the ground and look at all the bugs we found, and safely walk to school without a sound. Safely walk to school without a sound. Well, here we are, no one else. We walk to school all by ourselves. There's dirt on our uniforms from chasing all the ants and worms. We clean up and now it's time to learn. We clean up and now it's time to learn. Numbers, letters, learn to spell. Nouns and books and show and tell. Playtime, we will throw the ball back to class through the hall. Teacher marks our height against the wall. Teacher marks our height against the wall. And we don't notice any time pass. We don't notice anything. We sit side by side in every class. Teacher thinks that I sound funny, but she likes the way you sing. Tonight I'll dream while I'm in bed, when silly thoughts go through my head about the bugs and alphabet. And when I wake tomorrow, I'll bet that you and I will walk together again. 'Cause I can tell that we are going to be friends. Yes, I can tell that we are going to be friends.